Hey peeps, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. This video is a little different. I wanted to give my opinion on something besides a video. I might not do this again, but I'm making an exception for this. As you can tell by the title, it's a book series, an actual book series. That if you guys have seen my what I got for Christmas video, it's Michael Bay series by Richard Paul Evans. Yep, I had to make sure it was the right name. So I want to review the whole series because I read it from the first book and I finished it all the way through. I'm gonna summarize and give my opinion, which I'm gonna say right now. Major spoilers in this video. I'm going to be talking about the series itself, so if for some reason you're reading this series or you don't want spoilers, do not watch this video because I'm going to obviously be talking about it and I'm going to go somewhat in depth about it, or I'm going to give my opinion about it and I have to go in depth with that, so do not watch this video if you care about spoilers. So there's the warning for you. So I'm gonna start with obviously the first book. There are seven. There are 7 books in this series of the Michael Bay series. So this is what it looks like. This is the first book. This is a classic. The first one is Prisoner of Cell 25. Now, I'm gonna start by summarizing that this book series, again, spoilers, but this book series is about a group of kids who have electric powers by something that went wrong at some hospital when they were born at. And so, basically, the first book is starting off with the main character. His name is Michael. And he gets found out he finds this other girl in school, who also has electric powers. So they do some research to try to figure out more about themselves and where they're from. And then that's when that's when the girl gets kidnapped. He goes after her and saves her. And then they just start to learn more about who they are. So obviously that's the first intro to the series. This book is a classic to me because I think, when did this come out? I have no clue. But I read this. I first heard about this series when I was in 6th or 7th grade. I think it was 6th grade. So, the camera tilt a little bit. It's okay. There. Okay, I want to move it just a little bit because it's tilting. But, so I really, really like. I'm maybe being slightly biased because of the nostalgia that came with this, but still, the amount of detail and cliffhangers after in each book really is so good. You put so much thought and detail into all the characters and everything, and I love it so much. I was intrigued and I kept reading. I didn't even think I was going to make this video. I kept reading because I genuinely love this series a lot. And I read up, in middle school, I read up to the 3rd one because the 6th and 7th one didn't come out yet, and we didn't have access to the other ones, so the 4th and 5th one yet. And so I never read them, so reading them now was amazing because I needed to know how the series ended. The second one was Rise of the Elgin, which is the corporation that is trying to kidnap the electric children. Second one, they go to Peru because Michael's mother's kidnapped and they go and save her, which is really cool still. This is my second favorite, ironically, so it's my first and then second. Originally, the cover was a little different because the original cover was this, but now it's this, which I kind of like the old cover better, if I'm being honest, but whatever. Still really good. The third one, Battle of the Empire. I called it Empire, but I know it's pronounced differently. Someone please correct me. This one, obviously, they sink a ship, a battleship that the main bad guy, whose name is Hatch, he owns. He wants to collect all of the electric children so he can take over the world, and based on running his own electric plant and stuff. So basically the third one, not as good as the other two, but it's still really good, and I like how he also, like, saves, saves his friends and stuff, because after his mother gets kidnapped, his friends get kidnapped, and it's this whole thing where throughout the series he brings all kinds of, like, the author brought in, like, the fact that they had to use, or he used armies from different countries, so, like, the Peruvian army and stuff, and the Taiwanese army when they went to Taiwan and Japan and stuff, which is the fourth book. They had to rescue, I think it was a 9-year-old girl, a Chinese girl, who was figured out the science behind how they got their powers. So they were trying to save her, which is, I think this one is really good too. This is probably like my third favorite book in the series. So it goes 1, 2, 4, 3 so far. And then, a part of me thinks that the fifth book, which is Storm of Lightning, it makes me think that the fifth one is filler a little bit, in my personal opinion, because, when I read it, it was so much of them just, it was more focused on Hatch figuring out a new plan on what to do next after his ship sank and the Chinese girl was saved and stuff. So it feels like the fifth book was a lot of filler to transition to the climax, which I guess is needed in the story, but I wish a little bit more happened. And the one big disappointment in the series that I'm a little disappointed of was the fact that Michael and Taylor, which is the main female protagonist, his girlfriend, they didn't really progress too much. They mostly just kissed and snuggled, and that's it. I didn't expect them to do much more, because this is like an action or adventure kind of series, not a romance series, but I still wanted them to do, like, have more one-on-one moments with Michael and Taylor, you know what I mean? So I was a little bummed out, which my favorite scene, the closest that I got to, was him and Taylor had their own little prom, because they didn't have their prom because obviously they were trying to save the world so they can, like, do stuff in high school. So they had their own, like, personal prom date kind of thing, which was super cute. And I'm a dramatic person, so I'm a sucker when it comes to romance scenes where, like, say the girl's kidnapped or something, and then the guy's like, don't touch her, or something like that. It's such a cliche, because I love it when the guy saves the girl, or something like that. It's such a cliche, but I'm a sucker for it, okay? I love that shit. Okay, and then the last two books in the series is Fall of Hades and The Final Spark, obviously. So the Fall of Hades was basically I liked how it was leading up to the final battle where they did destroy one of the complexes that one of the other forts or complexes that Hatch built, because they wanted to save all these people. But it turned out that Michael kind of did a risky move at the end of that series, which really got me by surprise, and that's what I'm saying with, like, the major cliffhangers. And if you read the 6th book, then you know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh my god, these cliffhangers are so good. The cliffhangers for each chapter alone is so good, and I love it. And then the final book, I'm gonna be honest, it felt like more than half of the book was, I don't want to say it was filler, but that's kind of what it felt like, because it was almost too much build up for the very end of the series. And it felt honestly like, because they were doing different perspectives of the group that were like, oh my god, Michael's gone or something. The other half was like two other guys were like stranded and in like Fiji and stuff, and then another whole new group of soldiers were trying to. I can't even explain it because I was so confused after reading it. I was like, what is this? And I didn't even get to really see them at the end that much anyway. They were just like kind of fighting a little bit just to introduce, like, look, and then Michael showed up and they're like, look, it's Michael. And it was like and then the very end was super like quick, where he's like obviously he bursts in, he saves his friends and everything, and then he kills Hatch within like, it was less than a paragraph of he's like, you're dead now, and that's it. Oh. And I'm like, almost too much build up for something a little anticlimactic, which really bothered me for a 7-book series. But what are you gonna do? But the ending was still nice because they went back to their normal lives, or they tried to adjust to their normal lives and try to live out the rest of their teenage years together and stuff, which was nice. They went back to school and all that fun stuff. So it makes me sad about how there was so much build up. The series was so great, so much build up just for a quick, almost painless ending, and I'm like, what just happened? And they introduced new characters at the very last book, and I'm like, you are not gonna last long, dude. I just think it was a little ridiculous, but overall, the first book will always be my favorite because obviously the characters had more of their personalities and they were fresh, and there was so much detail and build and like bond between the characters and all that stuff. Even though overall the book series is still really, really good, and it's still my favorite book series of all time, and I love it. So thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I rarely recommend you check and read this book series. I tried not to go too in depth, even though I said I wanted to go into depth, but I didn't go too much into it because I do want some of you to read this book series if you haven't. Even though obviously I did say there were spoilers and I spoiled quite a bit. So, yeah, so please go read that book series. That'd still be great. And leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you're new. That'd mean the world to me because I post all kinds of random shit. And, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.